What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how I built this awesome router lift cabinet with tons of storage, dust collection, and lots of other cool features. So I bought this Jessam router lift a few months back, and so far I've just been using it without a fence or a proper cabinet. If you're a beginner like me, you probably don't have the money to dump into a router lift all at once. I threw together this 2x4 base from some pallets I had laying around, and it got me by for a while, but now it's time for an upgrade. I start by using a track saw to cut down a 4x8 sheet of birch plywood into more manageable pieces. At the table saw, I cut the tops and bottom to their final dimensions. Okay, cool. Now I'm ready to start drilling pocket holes. I see a lot of people using the K5 or the 720 jigs, but I'm using an original Craig jig that was given to me. This thing's made out of milled aluminum and it'll probably last a lifetime, so I don't plan on upgrading to either one of those. Now I'm ready to start assembling the cabinet. I start by adding some Titebond wood glue to the bottom edge and then clamp it in place. I'm using Craig 1¼ inch fasteners specifically designed for 3/4 inch plywood. I'm using 3-inch wide strips for the top braces. This gives me enough clearance for my router lift to fit inside the cabinet. For the bottom divider, I'm using a piece of construction plywood I had laying around. I figured since it won't be visible, I can use it here. I cut some risers out of some 1x2 and used them to keep the divider level while I clamp it in place. At the table saw, I cut 2 pieces for the vertical dividers. I mark out some lines and then use the jigsaw to make clearance cuts for the top braces. I draw some layout lines to help square up the dividers when I assemble them. It's important to keep everything parallel, otherwise the drawers won't work properly. Next I shoot some brad nails on the top side just to hold it in place so I can get some screws in it. Okay, cool. Now that I got the cabinet made, I'm ready to start making drawers. I acquired these bleacher boards from an undisclosed location, but they're a little bit too thick, so I planed them down to 5/8 of an inch. Now that I have all my boards planed, I take them over to the miter station and cut out the unusable sections that have holes drilled in them. At the table saw, I switch over to a 1/4 inch dado stack. This is what I'm going to be using to cut the dado for the bottom panel to slide into. I go ahead and cut all my dados at once, that way I don't have to keep switching blades. Now that I have all the dados cut, I rip the sides to their final height dimension. At the miter station, I cut the sides to their final length and width dimensions. I like to cut 2 at a time, that way I get identical measurements on each piece. For the bottom panels, I break down a sheet of 1/4 inch birch plywood and then cut them at their final dimensions at the table saw. I head back over to the Craig jig and drill about several million pocket holes. Before I assemble the drawers, I go ahead and give the sides a quick sanding. Okay, now I'm ready to assemble the drawers. I add a little bit of glue to the edges and dados before I clamp it in place. I like to use moderate clamping pressure because Craig joints have a tendency to move if you don't. Once I have 3 sides together, I can slide the bottom panel into the dados and finish assembling the drawer. Okay, cool. Now that I have the cabinet and drawers built, I'm ready to start assembling the drawer slides. I use a piece of scrap plywood as a riser to hold the slide level while I assemble it. I use the same riser on the opposite side so I know the heights are identical. Next, I use some 3/4 inch stock as shims to keep the drawer off the cabinet bottom. I alternate sides in between installing each fastener, pulling the drawer out as I go. This was actually my first time installing drawer slides, so I was a little apprehensive about this part of the build. Now the moment of truth. Success. Before I get any further, I think it's time to install the casters. I cut 4 pieces of plywood to use as feet to mount the casters to. I'm using 3-inch locking swivel casters that I got from Harbor Freight for around $5 a piece. I head back to the table saw and cut a divider for the middle. This is just to keep sawdust out of the middle drawer. Now I'm ready to install the drawer faces. I pin now a straight edge to the bottom to hold the face level and some double-sided tape to hold it in place. I used the pre-drilled holes for the handle to attach the face with some number 8 screws. Now I can open up the drawer and fasten the face from the inside. I use a 1/16 inch shim in between the bottom drawer and the one above it for clearance. This allows me to go from ground up and keep everything nice and uniform. Next, I need to install the door jamb and trim. I'm using Tight Bond CA glue combined with their Instant Bond activator spray. This is a handy trick to use for when you need to glue something up and you don't want to use clamps. At the miter station, I cut pieces for the door frame at 45 degrees and then head over to the table saw to cut a groove for the plexiglass. I'm using the same CA glue trick here to assemble the door. piece of 1/4-inch plywood for the back panel and then cut a hole for the dust collection. I'm just using wood glue and brad nails to attach the back to the cabinet. I go ahead and give it a quick sanding before applying the finish. For the finish, I'm using Rubio Monocoat. It's a 2-part blend that's mixed at a 3-to-1 ratio. This is my first time using Rubio Monocoat, but after seeing how easy it is to apply and how beautiful it looks, I definitely plan on using it for future projects. Now it's time to install the hardware. I got these matte black handles from Lowe's, and I think they accent the cabinet very nicely. I just want to point out that the way I'm installing these hinges is totally wrong. I'm only doing it for aesthetic purposes. I guess you could say I'm a little unhinged. Ha. For the door catch, I'm just using a piece of steel and some rare earth magnets that I glue on the inside of the door. Now I'm ready to fasten the top to the cabinet. For that, I'm just using some number 8 1.25" screws. For the power switch bracket, I cut a piece of 1/8" steel and round the corners off at the belt sander. I fire up the old wire squirter and weld 2 tabs to the bracket with pre-drilled holes. Grind the piss out of this thing till it's nice and smooth. You know what they say, a grinder and paint will make you the welder that you ain't. I guess that makes me a welder. Now I'm ready to install the fence. I went with the Master Fence 3. First, I install the T-track rails that adjust the fence. I go ahead and fasten these wires using cable staples. Next, I install all the hardware for the fence. I was really impressed with the quality of everything in this kit. Those Canadians really know about making good stuff, eh? using a 4-inch to a 2.5-inch Y split to combine the cabinet and fence dust collection ports. I'm really liking all the extra storage space and having a designated spot for everything I need. Now there's a home for all my push sticks, gripper blocks, and measuring devices, and they're not all scattered out throughout the shop. I like to keep my router bits and the tools that I'm going to be using the most in the top 2 drawers. Here's a final look at this thing before I give it a test run. I cannot wait to use this thing on future projects. It's definitely going to make things a lot easier. Well folks, that's all I have for today.